Question, real talk. Do you all have that friend, or maybe you know of this person? And this is just like one example that, like, you all say maybe you were gonna go out, right? Oh, we're just gonna go out. It's gonna be a very chill dinner, like nothing too crazy. And they agree to go. Then you go to said dinner. Maybe you have a glass of wine, maybe two. Everything's going swell. And all of a sudden, they've slipped away and unbeknownst to you are doing shots at the bar. And the next thing you know, you turn around and they're up on a table, dancing, being wild. When they told you they weren't going to do that, when you all made these plans. Do you know this person? That's 2021. They said they weren't going to come in here and start no mess. And now they're up on the bar, doing shots, being wild. No words. No words. Let's get into it. Take 8. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast. I'm Michael. Welcome back to all of my peacemakers who have been joining me since the beginning, and to any new friends who are joining me today for the first time. I hope you enjoy all that this episode has to offer. This is a knitting, crafting, crocheting podcast, just following my little crafty adventures here in my corner on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram as Piece4PeaceCrafting, and you can find me on Ravelry as Piece4PeaceCraft, which, in all honesty, I should see if I could change it so that all the handles are the same. That would be really helpful. All right, how is everyone doing? It's been a crazy 2 weeks. And I know that I said in my last episode that I'd probably be putting out this one that you're currently watching either yesterday, which was Sunday, or today. It's January 18th, 2021, which is a Monday. So normally I try and get the episodes out over the weekend, but the past 2 weeks has been sort of crazy for me. I moved. So it's been packing things up, taking them to a new apartment. Like, I know some of you are thinking, like, who moves in the middle of a pandemic? Apparently I do, which is really great. I'm super excited to be in this new spot. I have 2 housemates who were people who were in my bubble, and just for all of our sanity, we lived together before. We thought it would be a good idea to, just all move back in together, just for sanity reasons, really. And we all really get along, and they needed to move anyway, and so I was like, yeah, let's do this, which is really cool because now I will have a designated room for it. Obviously it'll be shared, but it'll be a designated room for like all of my craft stuff, which is really awesome. And I'm super excited to like get things put together. Like, as you can see over here, there's still some stuff. Literally, it was over the weekend, so there's still stuff packed up. All of my shelves are empty. I wanted to say that, like, oh, you guys, in the past 2 weeks, like, I just donated my entire stash. Aren't I such a good person? That's not what happened. Ciao. No. Everything's still in boxes or in bags. And so hopefully by the next time you see me, all of my stuff will be back in its place or have a home. And yeah, I'll be ready to get back into it. So, a couple things before we get started. One, last episode I said that I'd started a Ravelry group for this podcast. So if you are interested, you can, and Ravelry is accessible to you, you can head over there and join the Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast group. There's not much happening over there right now, but now that I'm moved and I have some things written down just for my own head, like what I'd like to do in the coming months. Yeah, I think some fun stuff will be planned throughout the year. I want to do some make-alongs. Yeah, I want to chat with more people. I want to build our piece community that we've started. So that's one. Go over and head over there. And then two, there is also a Spotify playlist for the group. So if you have Spotify, you can go over there and you can search Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast playlist. I know, it's a lot of words. And feel free to add a handful of songs. It was really nice having that playlist, in all honesty, while I was packing and stuff. I felt like I was with a bunch of you all. So I would put it on shuffle, and just like hang out, pack up my apartment and things, and jam out to some fun music that you all have been introducing me to some new artists, and just some stuff that I hadn't heard in a while. So I was like, oh, okay, this is fire. Like, it's a good time. So if you have Spotify and you're interested, head over and check out the playlist that's happening over there. It's a good time. Let's not get too carried away with adding things, but like, please feel free to add whatever you think other members in this community would like to groove out to, or just things that you're like, you know what, this is probably new to some people. Check this out. I'm here for it. The playlist should be a hodgepodge. I love it. So, with having to move and just things being sort of upside down, oddly enough, I have like all the whips. I was definitely procrastinating. I'd be like, oh, I don't want to do anything. Like, I don't feel like putting stuff in boxes. Let me just work on this for a little bit. So, first things first, I do have one finished object. Now, I'm apologizing in advance. I don't know where the ball band is because it wasn't in the bag because I finished it and I wore it over the weekend. So, first thing is I finished my Coffee Talk Toque by Tracy Miller. If you've watched, you know that I've made a couple pairs of the socks before. And so the toque has sort of that, not sort of, it has that same pattern down the front that the socks do. And it's a fun little hat that I was really excited. I needed something small since I was packing that I could work on. The yarn that I used for this is Trilogy Yarns in the whiskey colorway, and I believe it's on her MCN base. So that's 80 merino, 10 cashmere, 10 nylon, I want to say. I will link everything down below. I absolutely love this hat. It's super cute. I know that some people that I was talking to said that just depending on your own gauge, the hat can be a little bit small. So I took it upon myself to go up a needle size for both the brim and for the hat. So I think originally the pattern says that you're supposed to use a 4 and a 6, US 4 and 6, and I used a 5 and a 7. So 5 for the brim, 7 for the actual top of the hat. Also, check out the crown decrease. It's really pretty. Like the way she has it written into the pattern so that the pattern continues, but then also this is terrible. Then also you get that pretty little star on the top. It's really awesome. So I have a big head, but this is how the hat's supposed to be worn, which is really cute. It's cold here in Chicago, so like this will be nice on those not so cold days. But in all honesty, like I'm a big fan of rolling it up so it makes more. Yes. What? What? So it makes more of a beanie. So I'll probably wear it like this a little bit. This is how I was wearing it like while I was packing and stuff. Just roll up the brim, wear it as a little beanie. And then if it's cold out, I can always just fold the brim down. The great thing is like you can make the brim longer. If you wanted, you could extend the pattern just a little bit more if you feel like you need a little bit more length. I go back and forth on whether I like a slouchy beanie or not. Sometimes I'm really feeling it. I'm really into just like having this little beanie style with the little rolled up brim. I need to stop futzing with it. But I really like it. Again, this is the Coffee Talk Toque by Tracy Miller. Oh, yes. This colorway is amazing too. I was just thinking, was it yesterday? That in the summer, if I'm a little more golden brown, this would be so much fun, like end of summer, just to like throw on and it'll blend into my skin, which I'm very excited about. Anyway, whiskey, Trilogy Yarns, get into it. Absolutely love it. So that's the only thing I finished in these past 2 weeks, which granted, like I was busy doing other things, working from home and packing. But now it's time for the whip parade because I literally cast on 3 different projects sheerly because I didn't want to put stuff in a box. So let's get into it. The first thing I will show, oh, and I don't think it's in here. Shucks. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show is, this is also going to be a Beautiful Sister project bag parade. So the first thing I'm going to show, it's my Chicago Star sock knitting bag, or sock bag, and it's housing my socks that I started. So I got a little bit of work on these. These are my like, you're in a meeting, you just have a couple minutes to work on. So these are my socks. I'm doing them 2 at a time on US 1s. These are ChowGoo lace needles. I'm using Patton's Croy in the, I want to say it's gray marled. So close. The gray brown marl color. Loves. It's these are 50-gram balls and they're 75/25 just wool nylon. And I'm really loving them. I'm not, especially for these, I'm not a stickler on if they match up. I just wanted something that I could cast on and not think about. Now I will say something about these needles. The tips of these are soups sharp. So there have been a couple times that I've actually stabbed myself, and I may have started wearing just a Band-Aid. So treating it like it's a thimble. Is that what they're called? Yeah. While I'm working with these so that I don't pierce the skin. Yikes. I mean, I guess too, I could try to relax a little bit more so that that wasn't happening, but it was a little bit stressful of a week. So these are cool. I think the last time, of course, I didn't put any little progress keepers on them. I think I just done the cuff and maybe started the first stripes on both of these. And someone asked in the comments if I could talk about or show a sock ruler, and I thought that I brought it out and that I unpacked it, but I didn't. So I apologize um, to that person, but hopefully in the next episode, I will definitely do that. If you don't know what a sock ruler is, and I realize, sorry, too, that sometimes, and I think this happens too when I'm watching other people's podcasts as well, like, we're just excited to be talking about things, and sometimes for me personally, I forget to like add an explanatory comma about things. So for sure in my next episode, when I figure out where everything is, I can show like what an actual sock ruler is. But all it is it's just a little, it's probably about that big, and it just has markings on it. Mine is, one side is inches, the other side is centimeters, and it helps you to gauge how far you need to be knitting something. Um, so like my foot, I think for my socks, I go about 7.25 inches, and then I start my toe decrease. I think that's a recent development too. I think I was doing 7.5, and then I decided to cut down a little bit. I'm still trying to figure out my formula, which like fits my foot best, but also that depends on the yarn I'm using too. Anyway, so you can stick that thing in there, or you can stick the ruler in there and see like, oh, now I've made it to this point. I know that I can start my toe decreases. That's all that's doing. So I'm really excited about those. Hopefully I can get some work done on them now that I am in a new space and the unpacking shouldn't take too long. I'm really enjoying doing them 2 at a time. I think I talked about this before. It's like when they're done, they're done. But I'm loving it. It's very mindless. Yeah, vanilla sock that is going to be really awesome when they're done. And they're wool, so, or have a lot more wool in them. That Patton's Croy tends to be kind of thick, so like, it hasn't been too cold here in Chicago, but like on those days when it's really cold and maybe like I want to get out for just a little bit, run to the grocery store or whatever, like those thick socks do come in handy. The next thing in my sweater size, beautiful sister bag. I told you all beautiful sister. Here we go. So I spoke a little bit last week about joining in on the Wave of Change Pullover knit along that Denise Byron is hosting, who's the designer of the pattern. And I had some yarn left over from, what did I make? From my Grace pullover, which is also a Denise Byron pattern. And honestly, people like online, so on Instagram, and some people in the comments here on YouTube too, totally hyped me up about the colorway, and so, or the color that I chose. So I was like, oh, I have some of this left. Let me see how far I can get in this pattern, and then I'll just order more to finish it. So I had about almost 3 skeins of it. Yeah, almost 3 skeins of it left. So I did have to order more, obviously, because 3 skeins isn't gonna make me a sweater. So here, let me find the front. Here's where I am on that. So this is the Wave of Change pullover. My second one, actually. Oh, let me do this. This is using, so I'm on the body, obviously. I've already split for sleeves. Can you speak? And I'm working on the body. I probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I probably have 6 more. I have to look at my notes from the last one that I test knit, how many other stripes I did. Yeah, I'm onto the body. And I did do, so the first time, when I did the test knit for it, I had to do the pattern as is because obviously you're test knitting it. You want to make sure that it's looking good for the designer, that everything's going to work out, whatever, in the size that I was making. So this time around, well, one, I didn't swatch for it with this yarn, but I just made it. So like, I'm hoping that like everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine, obviously. Uh, fingers crossed. So I cast on in the recommended needle, which was an US 9. And then I started just the beginning and like the shaping for the back in the 10, like it says to do. And then once I finished that, I decided to do one modification and go up to a 10.5, a US 10.5 needle, just because I wanted the fit to be just a pinch more cozy than the last one. I love how my last one turned out. I'm super excited to rock that in the coming days. But yeah, I just wanted to try something some words. What? Try something new. And so, yeah, I just wanted to give myself a little bit more room. And I'm actually really loving the fabric that it's making. I'm enjoying knitting it again. Her patterns are just so wonderful, and this has been really cool. So the other thing that sort of had me gagged is that this was 3 balls of, it's a bulky weight. It's Knit Picks Wool of the Andes bulky, and it's the non-superwash. And there was one other thing. Oh, and the current colorway. So I did get more of this in the mail. It's in a box. And I'm super excited to, yeah, join those and finish this bad boy. If you are looking for a quick knit because it's bulky weight, I would highly recommend it. There is Denise is running a make-along. I think I talked about this in the last episode too, until the end of January. And so there's totally time to join in on it. You can go to her Ravelry group and see more about that. There's meetups that happen on Fridays where we all get together, share progress, where we are in the pattern, talk about yarn choices, things of that nature, and just like hang out for an hour. It's a really good time. Highly recommend it. So this was the second thing that I'd cast on since the last time I'd seen you all. Wonderful knit. Can't wait to, yeah, get back into this because it's such a, doing the pattern the second time around, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before too. Doing the pattern the second time around is even better because you know what to expect, you know how things are going or like where things are gonna go. And like I said, I'm doing small modifications just because I wanted to try something different and I wanted my fit to be a little bit better, which is also one of the amazing things about making your own garments. Not saying that you need to be making your own garments, like literally knit, crochet, sew, whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. But because I'm enjoying it and I'm into it now, I have really long arms, so it's always hard for me when I go to find sweaters in a store that like fit me properly. Yeah, just like proportions. You can make it fit to how you want it to fit, and I'm loving that. So this next one is going to be super cozy, and I am so excited about it. The last, is it the last? Yes, the last whip I have is, you guys, I wasn't planning on starting this. Let me tell you what happened. I was sitting at home and just by this point, there were like piles of things around me, right? And I'm just like, it was in the evening, I'd had enough for the day, and I was just thinking to myself, like, oh, I want to work on something, but I don't know what I want to work on because, like, bleh, whatever. And I don't know if you all remember, but a couple episodes ago, I showed this yarn that I purchased during Small Business Saturday, right? I'll show it to you right now. Let me just situate myself. So, I purchased this yarn from Trilogy Yarns. There's, oh no, the light. You all, I have a window in front of me now, so I'm hoping the lighting is gonna be poppin'. Uh, this is a little sidebar, not that anyone cares. So this is Trilogy Yarns. This is in her plush base. It is an MCN, so it's 80 merino, 10 cashmere, 10 nylon, and it's a fingering weight, and this is in the Mirage colorway, right? So this was sitting on my table, taunting me, and I was like, I just didn't know what I wanted to do with it, and so I was sitting around one night, and I decided to cake it up, which I know so many people talk about this, but like I do love the different stages that the yarn, or the different ways the yarn looks. Oh my god. This episode is just going to be called Words. They mean things. The way it looks in different forms. That's what I'm trying to say. Sweet goodness. So, like, twist it up like this, looks one way. Put into a ball, looks another way. Really love it. It's giving me a very earthy vibe. So, what I decided to do was, just randomly, was I cast on, let me make sure I have the right side. I cast on another dotted rays. So this is a Stephen West pattern. It's paid for. I have the little book here actually because I went through that box. So this is a dotted rays using Trilogy Yarns in the Mirage colorway. I don't know where I am in the pattern. I cast it on, I was going. So the cool thing, and I'm sure people have seen this if you haven't, cool thing about the dotted rays is you start over in this little section and it keeps growing out to that section over there. It's a lot of short rows, so, and honestly, I have to agree with others. Like, if you've never done short rows before, there's nothing to these. There's no like picking up stitches, wrapping and turning. It's super easy the way that he has written it in the pattern for you to achieve this look. And so, again, like, I love the way that this colorway is now showing up in this pattern. So another thing that I did just out of sheer boredom, and honestly, I blame this on you all. Like, I wore my scrappy dotted rays and everyone was like, oh, that's so cool. What a great idea. I'm living for it. I'm going to have to do that too. Yes, 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 yes. So I was like, oh, great. Like, come and hype me up. I'm living for it. So I was like, let me cast this on. So what I decided to do, because I only had 2 skeins of that, which wasn't going to be enough, I wanted to do the large version, and that wasn't going to be enough. So what I did was I had some bare Stroll from Knit Picks, right? There's stuff everywhere. Some bare Stroll from Knit Picks. I just caked that up, and I decided I was going to use that for all of the stripe parts of the pattern, if that makes sense. But then I thought having these two together, it was a little bit too stark of a contrast for me. Not really, but whatever. It was just a little bit too much. So I just finished doing those 2 Snuggle is Real patterns, or cowls, for my cousin, right? So I had some of the mohair left over from those. And so what I've been doing is, let me see if you can see it. Let me put this stuff back because I don't want to lose anything. So what I've been doing is when I get to these longer striped sections is I've been alternating. One time I'll go back and forth with the lighter of the gray. I think it's silver, and then the next time I have to do it, I'll go back and forth with the carbon color, and that's held with the bear Knit Picks yarn. So you can't really tell, I don't think, but the stripes have like the slightest bit of like color difference in them. And I think, well, now that I say that it was too contrasty for me, it's showing up in the camera. Super contrasty. But when I'm looking at it, it doesn't look as dramatic. Whatever. It looks cool. I like it. I'm into it. So I'm really living for this. I love this little tab now. It's just all different shades of mohair, which is fun. Or the two, switching back and forth. Love, 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 love. Really great. This is my second one of these. Is that true? Yeah. This is my second time doing this pattern. It's really lovely. I think now that I've done a lot of West Knits patterns or Stephen West patterns, I have a better sense of like what I'm doing, which is really boss. So like doing the short rows, sometimes it's hard for me to see where the last turn was. And so I know now, like, I'm just going to put a marker for myself. It's not written in the pattern, but I'm going to put a marker so I know where I'm supposed to be going, what I'm supposed to be doing. And this is just flying. Like, I'm having a blast doing this one, and I'm super excited to see how it's going to turn out. So I know I'm probably not going to have enough of the Mirage color, I don't think, to make it to the end of the large. So, which is also why I decided to add just that bear yarn in there. So what I'm thinking is, oh my gosh, what I'm thinking is, if I get to the end and I need more, I'm just gonna use the bear with the mohair at the end and just do the last little wedge in just the bear and the mohair, which I think might look cool. I'll decide when I get to it. Obviously, what's great about that pattern is you can stop anywhere. So if I get towards the end and I feel like it's big enough and it's where I want it to be, then I'll just stop and call it a day. But I kind of want to play around and see what would happen if I just started adding this big wedge at the top of it. Yeah, how that would turn out. Should be fun. Doing my look back and forth. I think that's all of my works in progress. Awesome sauce. So the last thing I want to share with you all is oh no, I'm missing something. Did it fall? I think I put the wrong thing in this bag. 1 second. I did. So I have been thinking about like some future projects, right? And there's going to be a couple that I will be sharing with you all soon. One of them is a test knit. I've ordered the yarn for it. It should have been here, I think, already, but like, it's cool. It's fine. Post is going to take however long post is going to take. So I'm super excited to share that test knit with you all. It's a sweater, I know that, and I can share me working on it. So that should be coming soon. The other thing is, you all know how much I love Murky Depths, and she has kits in her shop. And I didn't need, do we ever need to be buying it? Yes, we do. It's all about protecting our sanity and our peace. So I decided, sorry, I'm just moving like 800 things around right now, that I wanted to, since I was moving, I wanted a new big project once I'd moved. If you've watched my previous episodes, you know that I did the Slip Stravaganza, which was the Cow from last year, so 2020, and I loved that. I've made quite a few of Steven's bigger shawls. And so there's one that I've had my eye on for a while, and it's from the West Knits Best Knits Shawl Evolution book, number 3. Now, I have this as an ebook as well, but my friends over the summer surprised me and sent me the bundle, which is really cool because something about having the actual physical copy is really cool. But if I'm like sitting on the couch and I don't want to pull it out or mark it up as much, like while I'm working on the pattern, then I can just put it up on my iPad and just look at it that way. Anywho, I've been eyeing this pattern for a while. It's the Quake scarf. You can see it here. And it's huge. It's really massive. Hold up, I will find a better picture. Liv. Also, the model's so handsome. And the cool thing about this is it can be either a shawl or like a really long scarf. Love this. So there's a lot of movement to it. It's really huge. I've been eyeing it for a while, and oh my gosh, almost a year ago, I did a class with Stephen West here in Chicago when he was like going around doing all these classes. Did a class with him, got to see the actual shawl in real life, which furthered my like, oh my gosh, you have to have one of these in your life at some point. So I really wanted to make that. Now, coming back to Murky Depths. She has kits in her shop. They're 4-color fades, so that shawl needs 4 colors. And I think I've just messed up the order, but that's okay. So, and I'm also going a little bit out of like what I would typically pick for myself, which I kind of love. So here's the kit. Maybe if I go over here. Ah, yes. It's giving me greens. It's giving me a little bit of like yellow green, some brown in there. So this is the kit, and it has, here I can read it off of the bag for you. There's Destroyed, which is this darker of the 4. Then there's Brackish. Oh, I'm so excited for this one. Then we have Lagoon. Oh, with the blues. Oh my gosh. Obsessed. And the last one is Sailors Take the Warning. And this one has a bunch of little, like specks of things in there too. And these are all on her Harbor. It's 100% superwash, and it's the singles base. So it's 400 yards to 100 grams in each one of these. And so I bought the kit, or I was thinking about buying the kit, and I reached out to Debbie, and I knew that there had to be a mohair that went with them. And she's so sweet. I was like, Debbie, look, like I really want to get one of these kits. Here's the shawl that I'm thinking about making. Here are the mohairs that I'm thinking about pairing with it. Can you give me some advice? And she was like, yes, here's what I'm thinking. This would go best. And one of them wasn't one of the ones that I had picked, but I'm living. So this is the mohair that I'm gonna pair with it. It's called, the colorway is Little Miss Sunshine, and it's 72% kid mohair and 28% silk, and it's 459 yards and 50 grams. So this, let me see if I can hold all 5 together. is going to pair with this as my, let me flip that one up, as my pop of color in the shawl. And actually in this light, I'm living for it even more. Yeah, green's not really like something I gravitate towards, but like also I love color, so like I'll literally wear anything. Yeah, but there's just something about this set that I was like, I need to try that. And I'm super excited about pairing it with this Little Miss Sunshine colorway. So hopefully in the coming week, maybe by the next episode, we'll see, I will get that cast on, just because I want a bigger project to just like be hanging out that I can work on and go to every now and then. Yeah, so that was my like fun acquisition-y type thing that came in the mail shortly after my last episode, which I was really excited about. Lastly, again, for those of you who have been adding to the Spotify playlist, I really appreciate it. Like I said earlier, it kept me very entertained while I was packing, going through stuff. And so, another thing, if you leave in the comments, like maybe you don't have Spotify, but some people are leaving me like, oh, you should check this out. I'm gonna start taking those recs too and putting some of the songs that I've just like found from those artists into the playlist as well, so that everyone can listen to them. Yeah. So this week, what I'd like to share with everyone is someone actually had put one of the songs in the playlist, and when it came on, I was like, oh yes, I totally remember this album. It's so good, like whatever. And since all of my stuff is still packed up, I like went and found whichever stack was on top of my records, and luckily the A's were there. So the album I'm gonna recommend this week is Alabama Shakes, Sound and Color. This was their second album. When did this come out? 2015. That's wild. This album is really, really awesome. Sort of rocky. Brittany Howard, who's the lead singer of Alabama Shakes, her voice is absolutely incredible. She just screams. Not screams in like a I don't know, screaming where it like doesn't have any purpose. What I mean by screams is she's just like, her voice is so loud that I say that she's screaming, and I live for it. It's really great. Some of my faves from this album are the title track, Sound and Color, is really beautiful. Dunes, like a sand dune. Dunes is really great. Give Me All Your Love, and I'll throw one more in there. Oh, Gemini. Gemini's pretty good too. Whatever. I personally only will buy like a vinyl record, whatever you want to call it, if it's an album that I'll listen to the whole way through. Like, I'm not going and spending my money on something for singles. That's what Spotify is for. Unless it's like some old joints that I'm like, oh, let me check this out. Maybe I like a song that's been sampled in like a hip-hop song or whatever. I'll go and I'll check it out, and then I'll see if I can buy like the whole album of that artist for really cheap, because usually that's like old soul music and I'm gonna be into it anyway. So I'll just buy the whole thing, and then I end up loving it and listening to the whole thing. Anyway, bought this because I love Alabama Shakes, love this whole album. It's really great. Give it a listen if you want. I think it's lovely. It's also adding to our sort of Leon Bridges calmly coming into the new year. Yeah, with some fun, like, soulful music. I'm here for that. Anyway, so that's all I have for you all today. Again, if you have made it this far and you are enjoying the content, please make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below. I love reading all the comments, writing back to people. Tell a friend, maybe they would enjoy sitting down, listening to me ramble about whatever it is I'm making while they're crafting. Join the Ravelry group, join the Spotify playlist. Yeah, I think that's it. So thanks you all. Oh, and thanks to all the new subscribers that I got since the last video. That's been really fun because I've been so wrapped up in trying to get myself moved into a new place. It's been interesting to go on and be like, oh, you have all these new subscribers. So definitely welcome to you all. And yeah, tell a friend. Maybe they would enjoy hearing me ramble about this stuff too. Until the next time, you all, I hope everyone stays safe and you have something fun and productive that you can be working on. Hopefully you'll be grooving out to some good music. Yeah, everyone enjoy the next 2 weeks. I'm hoping to be back on putting these out over the weekends now that I'm all moved. Yeah, I think that's it. So until the next time, you all, make a piece, spread some peace. Peace.